What is going on, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo. Welcome to Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I was super lucky to have Square Enix come all the way to me and bring a build of Deus Ex and a big chunk of the game for me to play so I could make this walkthrough of a super cool mission for you guys, showing off the conversations, the combat, the characters. I think you're really gonna like it. We got a half hour of content for you, so buckle in, grab some popcorn, get your hot chocolate ready. Let me know what you think of the game. If you want to see more of it on my channel in the future, hit that like button, and here we go.
But still we have no answers. No one has yet claimed responsibility. Dr. Talos Rucker, the leader of ARC, posted a letter condemning the attack. Sources close to the investigation, however, tell me that Rucker and ARC may be behind it after all. I don't know about you folks, but with the upcoming...
Interesting pre-game ritual you've got there. You getting pissed enough to end this guy yet?
I got a no-kill order.
Is that right? Would have thought he'd done enough to warrant extreme prejudice.
How far out are we?
Coming up on it now. Not many spots I can set her down. You got a preference?
Get as close to the ground as you can. I'll take it from there.
Whatever you say, boss. Jensen, still got all your parts together?
I'm fine. How close did you get me to our contact's location? Housing Unit 237.
Jesus, Jensen, I didn't put you on his doorstep. Residential sector should be just ahead of you. Me, I'm gonna switch to autopilot, have a coffee. Let me know if things get interesting.
So we've touched down in Golem City, a very grimy place full of lots of tech and possibly some terrorism. We're searching out a man named Rucker, and that is what our mission will be. But first, let's meet some of the locals and get a feel for what is happening in Deus Ex and in Golem City.
I don't suppose you've got any neuropazine you can spare, do you?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
It was worth a shot anyway. Word of advice? You might want to keep a low profile tonight. Golem City can be sketchy in the best of times. This definitely isn't one of them.
Why? What's happened?
Haven't you heard? Terrorists try to blow up Ruzika Station. And even though people here couldn't have had anything to do with it, the cops need someone to blame.
Where I come from, cops are supposed to be the good guys.
What planet is that? Because where I come from, the police have been militarizing for years, wasting money and inciting deep levels of mistrust between them and the very people they're supposed to protect.
Is that what's happening in Golem City?
It's happening all over the place. The cops in Golem are a special breed. They control everything here. Food, drugs, neuropazine, and not all of them think very highly of Azags.
These cops, they're looking for members of ARC?
We're all members of ARC to them, one way or another. And some of us may have even done bad things, but not the kind of things the rest of the world says we've done.
Sounds like you support ARC.
Why shouldn't I? The Augmented Rights Coalition was started with the best of intentions, as a non-violent way to confront injustices and advance the cause of augmented rights.
Okay, but in my experience, the best of intentions often go awry.
That may be true, but right now Talos Rucker and ARC are the only things keeping people in Golem alive. Trust me, they're the good guys.
I'm getting the impression that you see ARC and Talos Rucker as some kind of augmented Robin Hoods. How well do you know the man?
I met Talos years ago in India. We were both humanitarian aid volunteers back then.
Is he a good man? The press paints him as a narcissist.
He has his faults, but I wouldn't believe everything you see on Packers News.
Does he visit this area of the complex much?
You know, you've been asking me an awful lot of questions.
This is my new home. It's a lot to take in at once. I was just looking for a few pointers.
Lesson 1, then. Treat other people with respect and kindness if you can. Don't trust them before you really get to know them.
I see. Well, thanks for the warning, Doc.
I hope you'll take it to heart.
So that sets up the central conflict of this mission, searching for Talos Rucker in this sort of seedy but divided area, and it also sets up the central conflict for Mankind Divided in general, this internal war within humanity between augmented and non-augmented individuals, and that will carry us through the storyline, showing off some of the visual variety, a lot more environmental uniqueness here in MD as opposed to Human Revolution, which I super appreciate. Now we will stroll into combat. Adam Jensen's bread and butter, or his metal and mental. I like to take the stealthier approach, so you're going to see a lot of hacking, a lot of corner cover, and a lot of arm blade action, but I do get into some firefights as well. I really like these hacking minigames. For me, a lot of the fun in Deus Ex is feeling like I have that futuristic manipulation of the world, and obviously Mankind Divided puts that front and center. So we'll show off a lot of mods here, a lot of the augmentations, our ability to cloak ourselves, to shield ourselves, to shoot things out of our body, and to manipulate the world. So we'll shut off that electricity and bring all of the firepower internal. So again, I like to play things stealthier. I feel like the game feels and plays better at its stealthiest, although you can go guns blazing if you want. They focused on upgrading sort of the shooting controls and that feel. Really pretty environments, a lot of verticality as this dude gyrates to the music, which, let me note, also adds a lot to the feel and vibe of the game. It was just so much better to play this in the comforts of my own home as opposed to at E3 where there was a billion different noises going in every different direction. This just felt so much more engaging and immersive, and I did not want to stop playing. Picking up a sniper rifle there. We will use that in a second here. As we come around the corner and grab some goodies, all sorts of things to pick up. Obviously, I didn't focus too much on that because I wanted to progress through the storyline and through the mission and ultimately get you guys to the boss conflict or conversation at the end of this video. So we'll hack some of these laser grids here. I don't know. I think like it really is fun to manipulate the world sort of to your fancy, and that is what we're doing here. Calling forth for a big jump. I think there was a path up, so I could have stayed on the uppermost ledges, but we'll take the staircase. We'll do things sort of the respectful human way. Gotta show some courtesy to those that don't have super cool legs. Taking corner cover behind some washing machines. Once you get a hang of the controls, it feels very good. They've made some modifications. You can return to Human Revolution controls if that is what you desire. We'll hide behind the laundry service and shut down this camera for a few seconds so we can sneak by. Graphically, things looked and ran pretty darn well. Obviously, it is not final code, so take that with a grain of salt, but it did feel very nice, and the up-close interactions, as you saw in the initial conversation and as you'll see in the ending conversation, the character models looked really, really good. Now, some of the more generic NPCs don't, but the focal characters and where your focus kind of will be from a gameplay standpoint does look super, super pretty. And just has that nice futuristic glow. So I've got two targets up there who are trying to spot me with snipers of their own. Let's bring them some of their own medicine here in a second. Alright, as I mentioned, you can stay upper if you want to, and we'll take out some targets coming around the bend. Now, this is what I would kind of consider a merging between stealth and then straight up combat. I wanted to make sure that there was a little bit of both, so it wasn't just a pure silent run with no gunplay. We'll come around the corner here and take this guy out with a little throat stab, doing everything non-lethal, because that's the way I like to roll as my Adam Jensen. Of course, you can take everyone out if that is your desire. And you can do things completely stealth. Getting to see the weapon wheel there. There's also the augmentation wheel. You bring up the menus, it pauses the action, and you can kind of manipulate your inventory as you see fit. Got an assault rifle of sorts here, but I think this calls for the Lancer rifle, which should take things a little more long range. That's our sort of smart vision, which allows us to see interactable things in the environment as well as targets through walls and whatnot. One shot to say hello, and a second shot to say goodbye. That's kind of how things work here in Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Sometimes not a whole lot of time to reason with these people, even though Adam Jensen has a lot of brain power behind his brawn. So we'll continue our quest through the residential district of Golem City here, although these residents are not too happy to see us. More militia than modern moms and dads. I really did like the gunplay, like I said. It definitely feels a step up, and sort of some of that clunkiness that you may have felt in Human Revolution in large part is just totally not present here. These guys say hello. I activate my shield, which gives this super sweet, like, onyx geometric glaze to Adam Jensen's attire, which I really like, and it looked great in that third-person shot, as you saw there. Shutting these people off. You'll notice my energy meter kind of dictates everything. It refills to a certain little level there, but if I want any more, I would need to use consumables. I don't think I have any at this time, so instead we'll resort to a bombastic grenade action. Toss these in there. Not sure that's where it needs to go, but at least you get to see a little boom doom. Now let's head to the upper level with that grenade and hopefully deal some damage. She is not wanting to go down, so we'll say goodnight with another shot from our pistol. Not sure why I'm going silence here. I guess I just like the accuracy of the pistol. So we'll vault over here. No, Jensen. Grenades are not what you need. You need speed right now. So let's kind of just mess things up here. Tactical shotgun is a pretty sweet weapon. So we're going to go ham for a second. And I was happy. This upcoming scenario, you'll see, I was very happy with. Because you don't want a game that encourages so much stealth and so much strategy to allow you to just blaze through. And for a second here, I thought, okay, maybe I can just brute force my way through these levels. I've attracted the attention of all of the enemies, and yet I'm still sitting pretty. I haven't used too many consumables, and my health meter, as you see on that right-hand side, is doing really well. These cameras are here, and these sort of people are here, but do they care that much? And my question was answered as I jumped down here. You'll see that this was not a smart idea at all. My Onyx defense mechanism will not be enough for the 8 bazillion guys that say my name. And that's the end of the game. No, we'll reload and bring you right back to where I was. Now doing things a little smarter, activating that augmented camouflage. We'll cross the little pathway and continue our prettier version of this run. So trying to shut this firewall down. You can fail those. They are possible. It does move pretty fast, but sometimes it just requires a few shots from your pistol and you can proceed. A lot of throwables. You can touch everything. So if you're worried about them taking that out, they definitely did not. And we will work our way towards Mr. Rucker. A very nice section here. Obviously, I've made some cuts due to the restrictions of the video and whatnot, but I am showing you guys majority of the mission what I felt were the coolest parts of the mission. So trying to fire those Tesla blades off here, they take more of a homing route, but you do still need to have direct line of sight of your target in order to get the full shock value, if you will. And we grab our XP points from that. That's another reason I like the stealth approach. I feel like you get a lot more XP. And looking to level up, I had a pretty decked out and souped up Adam Jensen, but if I was playing this game on my own, I would need to be acquiring all of that stuff, and I'd want to do so via a silent method so that I could do get as much XP as possible and move through the levels as quickly as I could. So we take that guy out, Gazoon tight, my friend, and we'll continue on our way. Again, just notice the verticality and the environmental coolness. I think to me that was a big need for this sequel, was it had to really step its game up from more of the stoic and sterile office buildings and technical complexes of Human Revolution. And I like the fact that they've added so many different levels here from a height standpoint. That was something that was showcased in the very early trailers and the first looks at gameplay. So we are going to move past the big room there.
Chicane, you with me?
Thankfully, no. What's your progress?
I'm through the living quarters. Looks like I'm into some kind of operations area now. My gut tells me Rucker's gonna be above all this, someplace high and defensible.
Better find an elevator then. I'll update you with extraction coordinates when I have them. Chicane out.
Alright, so Chicane, who is our mission advisor today, is telling us to find an elevator, and first we will elevate these souls to another plane, a sleepier plane, more like a heavenly plane. I don't think they're going to be waking up anytime soon. There was earlier in my demo a police section, whereas at a police station there were some side quests and whatnot, and you could sort of sneak your way through a pretty close quarters police station, which required a lot of stealth, a lot of cloaking, but led to some pretty cool encounters. I'll save that for the main game, and sort of my interactions there will show up when I play through in its entirety. I wanted to make sure I got you guys to the boss encounter, because it's actually really cool. There's sort of this entire system where you have to read their emotions, read their sort of mentality, and respond in kind in order to get the best response, and in order to really extract the most from the conversation, in order to get as many goods as you can from your targets. And some of that was in Human Revolution, but it's definitely been upgraded quite a bit here in Mankind Divided, and you'll see sort of the forward progress in that system, and how they've made conversations boss battles of their own right, and how we will need to be successful in that conversation in order to get extra data, basically extra perks that will help us progress through the missions and accomplish our tasks in different ways. That's sort of where a lot of the variety in terms of storyline comes in, and how your experience will differentiate your time with Mankind Divided from someone else's. So we've got these two targets. I don't really want to open fire, but that guy just begged for it by walking straight towards me. Now we've got some other targets in the northern section of this area here, and this is just like, honestly, like, I love this kind of gameplay, and merging it with all the interactions like makes for my like preferred Western RPG experience of the day. I think that this setting to me is just my favorite. The fact that it's not doing the medieval thing, the fact that it's not doing the swords and sort of soliloquies, that it is doing this futuristic style, while also bringing in that RPG goodness. To me, like, I don't know, I this is the one that sort of does it for me in that genre. So we got one more target. I could just go guns blazing on her, but I kind of like just playing Ring Around the Rosie and saying hello. Wanted to fire the Tesla blades. A little disappointed that some of those armaments don't have more of a homing power, but I guess it's right that you should have to have some skill in terms of your aim and really need to see them straight up. So we'll grab our gear here and then move towards the elevator and move up towards Rucker. And you want to keep an eye on his alpha, beta, gamma readings alpha, beta, omega, readings during the conversation. And when those icons ping, you'll note that that is when he is sort of eschewing or exuding those personality traits or those mentality traits. There he is, some shots of him, I believe, on the graffiti there. But we want to really appeal to his better senses in our responses, and so that's what we're looking for in a minute here. Though first, making sure that we don't alert any of these dudes. You'll see a lot of them, as well as some lasers, so we'll come around the corner here nice and quiet. I just feel like I'm playing the game right when I do things in the reserved stealth way. To me, like, yes, you can go guns blazing, as you sort of saw in my goof up run earlier, but it doesn't feel as good. It doesn't feel like you're as skilled of a player, and it doesn't feel like it's really taking advantage of all the systems that the game has to offer. So let's see if we can get closer to this elevator. Where do I want to go? And this is obviously a blind playthrough, so I was seeing this environment and this scenario for the very first time. It's a totally different section that I played at E3, so that was super cool as well. The hacking is back in full force. I never really got super into this kind of hacking. I'm more like the shorter term sort of mini-game live in the world hacking, but for those of you that really did like to dive into all of this and more of the sort of computer hacking, obviously that's all in here, and we will be successful in a split second as we open up the registry here and grant ourselves some backdoor access and move behind the lasers, behind these targets. Obviously there's terminals you can hack, learn more information, pick up more gear, but we've got to get moving. Love the attention to detail with the bookshelves there, the desks, the sense that this is a very lived in world. I really like that. Environmentally, they nail it, and I had the opportunity to see a few other sections as well that I wasn't able to show, and those were incredible. So you're really gonna like how much oomph they've invested in the environments, in the play spaces, as well as the social spaces for more of the hub worlds. That's super cool. Alright, so I think we've just about had our fill with Golem City. Let's get to Rucker. We've got an elevator to catch. It's right at the end of this corridor, so let's take a brief jaunt forward in time. Take me to your later, Golem City. I'm ready for him. Wait for it. Wait for it. And there we go. Elevator opens. Jensen, meet Mr. Rucker.
I'm unarmed.
I'm sure you'll understand if I don't take your word for it.
As the customary final request of the condemned man, please, do not kill any more of my people on your way out. Their only crime against you is their loyalty to me.
You don't seem surprised to see me.
I'm not. After the train station attacks, I knew it was only a matter of time before they sent someone. Please, sit.
This isn't a social call, Rucker. I'm here to take you in.
Our mandate is to fight for the rights of the augmented. Communicate our message, offer assistance. The Ark is a non-violent organization.
All right, then this should be easy. Come with me, answer our questions, and we'll have you back here in plenty of time to film your next sermon.
I'm not a fool. If I surrender now, I'm never coming back. Once you have me, you intend to make me disappear. But I will not make Solzhenitsyn's mistake. My people and I will resist you.
I thought you were a pacifist.
I am. But I'm more than a leader. I am a symbol. That is why you wish to erase me. If martyrdom is the only way to remain a symbol, then even my death is preferable to my evaporation.
You said you don't want any more of your people getting hurt. But if I have to bring you in by force, I will. And they're gonna try to stop me. There's a better chance of avoiding violence if you come along peacefully. You have my word. I will do everything I can to see that you are treated fairly.
How dare you speak to me of peace and fairness? You assaulted innocent people to get in here and kidnap me on behalf of masters who hide in the shadows, manipulating, controlling, and murdering without the courage to proclaim their convictions in front of the rest of the world.
All right, so you see that alignment analysis, his response level. We learn a little more about Rucker there on the left, and then we have to pick a response. You can see Jensen's response on the bottom that will best appeal to really make the most progress. Now, you could be standoffish, but if you want to get the most out of this guy, you're going to need to find what will work with his way of thinking.
You're not any different from them, Rucker. All of you rely on armed men while spouting your rhetoric from behind the safety of a camera. If you want to prove the strength of your convictions, confront your enemies face to face.
Well, You seem to be more than the unquestioning brute I took you for. It is refreshing to hear that kind of passion and idealism in other people, particularly after everything I've experienced lately. I have been patient and understanding. I have taught my people non-violence and waited for the rest of the world to follow that example. I have had faith in humanity, and humanity betrayed me.
And again, we get to continue to find the best way. And sometimes you need to sort of mix up your tactics and your talking strategy here and really pay attention to how he's doing. Now, I was very successful in my responses, but I could foresee you failing and need to sort of adjust course. And I'm curious to see later in the game how in-depth these conversations, how difficult at reading some of the targets may get.
Follow your example. History has shown that anti-other movements always spring up in times of chaos and fear. Before deciding to become the symbol of the cause, you should have made sure you were prepared for it.
I thought I was. I thought I could. God help me, someone had to do it. This is a very precarious time for the movement. These attacks are making everything worse for us. My leadership position within ARC is being threatened, and I suspect the two might even be connected. Please, go back to your people. Tell them to give me 48 hours so I can attempt to resolve the internal conflict.
All right, and you can see his response level is really climbing. We're doing very well. We've tapped into sort of his emotions here and his sensibility, and we're working super well. Now, you saw the pings on the Alpha, Beta, and Omega, and I kind of hope that later in the game, maybe you can turn those off, or maybe they're not as apparent, so you do have to sort of use your intuition to figure out what would be the better response based on what he's saying, less based on just where those pings show up during his monologues, but we'll see how that goes as we move through the game.
I'm sorry. If I go back empty-handed, I'll just be replaced, probably by someone more eager and less sympathetic. Coming in now is honestly the best thing you can do for everyone.
Yes. I suspect you are right. But can you understand this? If you were to take me from here, you would be responsible for more than my death. You would be responsible for my effacement, the ruination of the Augmented Rights Coalition, and the perversion of everything it stands for.
Once more, we need to convince him that coming with us is the way to go. We've got him. He's close. He's having some last-second regrets, but we can bring him back to our side with one more good comeback.
If you come with me willingly, there won't be any violence. You now have the choice. Choose the non-violent path, or you are the one betraying the cause.
I cannot watch any more of my people die. Not on my account. You have asked me to trust you, and so I will. Before we leave together, there's something I must show you. I suspect there's a power struggle brewing within our organization. Some people inside ARC are less committed to our ideals.
Are you trying to tell me you know who's responsible for the bombings?
I have only suspicions, and until recently, not even that. The evidence I have begun collecting is meager, but I give it to you. This is the key card for the security door. The evidence is inside.
Why give it to me? Why not keep it, present it at your interrogation?
Because if my suspicions are correct, and I am seen leaving here with you willingly, I may not survive to present my evidence. Somewhere down there, hiding in plain sight, is your real terrorist. I was trying secretly to find out who is responsible.
Rucker? Chicane, Rucker is dead.
Come again.
I'll fill you in when I see you, which is where exactly?
There's some greenhouses near your position.
So that
Below
should have
them
been
is a
ultimate
clearing.
victory.
That's
We
where I'll be.
did
Chicane out.
appease him enough to grab his access key and the evidence we'll need to take back to base and get the most out of this mission and hopefully find the terrorists and uncover more of this conflict. But unfortunately, it looks like Rucker was sabotaged by someone or maybe even by himself. I'm not so sure. We'll dig into that more in the full game, but that will bring our an early look at Deus Ex Mankind Divided to a close. Super pumped that I was able to bring this to you guys as we enter his secret quarters. Let me know what you think of the game. Hit that thumbs up button if you want more Deus Ex Mankind Divided action up on your screen in the future. Thank you guys and girls for being awesome and making stuff like this possible. I love you so much. Until next time, drink so much of it. Thanks again. Hope you had fun. And we will see you all later.